Welcome to this week's edition of the Sports Scoop Coaches Show. Yep. Joining me is old faithful Ted Hammond. Got his hair all done up for the show, special.
I just braided it just for today.
That's good, Teddy.
Yep.
Well, let's get right into basketball.
I like that idea.
The Bulldogs saw their losing streak reach 4.
Yep, there we go again.
Losses to NRHEG and Martin County West, a couple of decent teams.
No, not really.
Sorry, Pat.
no, Nurhag is a real deal.
Yeah.
Okay, they got Oakley and they got Cole, and that'd be cool if the name was Oakley, Cole Oakley, to put those two guys together. But those two guys, they dominated us on the inside, but it was our best game of the season. We came out, we played even with them, and it went on a little bit of a hiccup for about 3 minutes, where they had 3 steals, and they went down and converted all 3 of them, and so that was three turnovers for us. We had empty possession. So that was a 6-point swing, and then they got it up to about 13 at halftime, and then we fought back, and about 3 minutes ago we had it below 10, and we just played a really good ball game for us. And so we'll take what we got out of that one. Like I said, it's the best game we played all year, and it was in Richland. Had a nice crowd there, and we just didn't have enough firepower at the end to overcome them, so the final score was 69-57. And for us, we had Josh Janicki had 22 points. He went head-to-head with Oakley Baker and didn't give any ground at all. Unfortunately, that was the only double-figure score we had. We had Jeremiah Sack came in with 9, and we had 9 guys score. But we just need to get a couple other guys in double figures, then we can pull the game out on top. So good game. We thought we could build on that because then Martin County West came in, and they were a game ahead of us in the standings for the Valley Conference. And if we could have beaten them, and then we have another conference game coming up this week, we could have tied them for 5th place in the conference, which for us, middle of the conference, that really been good. But we went in at halftime, we were ahead 27-26. We went to a triangle and 2, which I've never done this year. And they had 2 guys, Ekman and Williamson, and we held them down, but then their secondary scorers, we didn't think they could score. Well, they proved to us they could. And then in the second half, we just, they put a half-court press on us, and we didn't have any trouble breaking it, but then we couldn't convert once we broke the press. So they ended up winning the ball game 73-59, and when you give up 47 points the second half, you're probably not going to win the ball game. Right. So our press didn't quite come through, and we were pretty deflated. The only decent thing about that Friday night was we had a cancer night, and it wasn't like the coaches for cancer. We were just going to go a celebration among the team members, and we passed the buckets in the stand. And then we had kroomkakas for cancer during the week at school. Excuse me. And I made a homemade batch of kroomkakas, and then
I noticed there wasn't one there for me today. That I've never had one, and you were promised to bring one.
Oh, they're in my locker over at the GWP.
Okay.
I still got some. Okay.
Good.
But I was giving them out to everybody, including you. But we ended up raising $470 for cancer. So it was a good thing about that night. Not the best thing, but. At least we had some highlights, and the kids did a nice job of passing these buckets through the stands. And we had cancer survivors came down on the floor with me. I just said anybody out there in the audience, and some people came down, including a kid named Mark Joyce from GWP. I coached him, and I think he had liver cancer, and he survived it. He's in remission now. So it's kind of for me emotional night.
Well, sure.
Yeah, it was a good deal, but it should have been nice to highlight it with a win. We didn't, and now we got to go back next week. Holy cow, we got Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. So it's going to be four games in 7 days. And we could win all 3 if we play a really good ball. We got to go to BA. Franz is not there anymore, but his younger counterpart now is taking over. They start a junior, 2 sophomores, 2 freshmen. And I went and watched them the other night against Belle Plaine, and they don't play like a junior, 2 sophomores, and 2 freshmen. They're a pretty good squad. They're very disciplined, and we're going to have to really want this one. It's at BA, and that's a Cracker Box gym, and you know what it's like to play at BA.
Yep.
And then Thursday, we got Alden Conger rematch. We're supposed to play them way back beginning of the year, and it got snowed out. So we got to have that game in because then the showcase starts the following week. And then on Friday night, we got Belle Plaine, so we had 3 games in 4 days. And then on Monday, the showcase starts up, and that goes by seedings, how you are in the conference. And so we'll probably be in the bottom third. And we'll be with Alden and Nicollet, and then Martin County West or Lake Crystal. I'm going to guess Lake Crystal. At the top of the conference, they got Cleveland is 8-1. They're finished with their regular schedules for the conference. And then they got upset by Medelia, but then St. Clair came along, and so St. Clair and Cleveland are the top 2 seeds. So it's conference time, for the showcase, and then we have games after that for getting ready for playoffs. So we got a lot of games coming up, and we got depth. We just have to get that winning attitude and see where we can go from here. But right now, we're struggling a bit with that losing streak, but it's not as bad as the Gophers, so that's what I use with the guys.
So the Bulldogs 3-12 overall. Tuesday they will continue their Gopher Conference schedule at Faribault VA.
Yep. Yeah, that's about it. I do have one thing about Tommy Gannon. For those of you that remember last week, he talked about he had to undergo surgery for his broken ankle. He had really good surgery last Friday morning about 6, and goofy in a fruitcake when they called him because they had these drugs in his system and everything. But he said it went really well. I think youth was on his side, being a young kid. And they're talking about 6 weeks with a boot, and then he can start rehabbing. So that was really good news. They're looking at 3 to 5 months, and the 5 months was the worst case, and so he got the best case scenario. So Tommy, you get better out there and get off those goofy drugs.
NRHEG, Pat Churchill's crew. Pat had a good talk with Pat last night over at Byron. He was scouting because he plays the Blue Jays down the road. The Panthers have now won 5 straight games. They're 13-6 overall. They defeated, as we mentioned, JWP. Then they bounced Bloor 61-44 and defeated Faribault BA, who Teddy will be playing, 75-54. So a 3-win week for the Panthers. Tuesday, they have the big battle with Maple River coming to town. And Maple River has defeated NRHEG twice by 21 and 19 points. So
they're the real deal.
They're the real deal. Yep. 5 straight for the Panthers, as we mentioned, having another good season. This is the 3rd straight year that Pat's really had a nice season over at NRHEG. WEM, Jeff Wagner, what can you say? Him and Baca, and they just keep on ticking, don't they? There's no rebuilding. They just reload and go again. The Panthers, or the Bucks, 5 straight wins. They're 14-3 for the season now. They defeated Triton 68-45 and defeated Blooming Prairie 80-43 during the week. I think they're perking. I see Big Zach had 34 against the Blossoms.
And Dorn Kemper coming through, Teigmeyer coming through. They got it going.
That's going to be a good section again with Maple River, Waterville, and New Richland all in that section.
What was the highest team score, the other team score against them?
Well, 45 last week.
Okay, I mean, that defense,
yep.
They just rely on that man-to-man defense in your shorts, and can't beat it.
Tuesday, the Bucks have USC coming to town, a team they've already beaten by 19 points. And Waseca, they had a 2-game week. They split. They defeated St. James on the road Thursday, 76-37. Last night they went to Byron, a great game. Byron rallied from an 8-point deficit in the final 5 minutes to defeat the Jays 74-72. Byron had about the same record as Waseca, and they've got a nice club. Nick Dufault poured in 30 for the Jays, and Byron had a sophomore lefty as well that had about 22 and was really a nice-looking ball player. So I think Byron only started 1 senior, so they're going to be tough for another couple of years at least. The Jays, as we mentioned, 13-6 now for the season. Thursday, they will head to Colby Swanson and the Blue Bucks, a team they beat by 34 in Waseca.
Colby.
Colby's having a tough first year.
Yeah, what a great kid.
Yep, he is. Girls basketball, let's take a look at our 4 area teams. JWP, they're 7-9 now for the season. They got thumped by Loyola early in the week and then bounced back and defeated Lake Crystal Welcome Memorial 50-48.
Good game.
In a thriller. They will play Monday night against NRHEG.
It'll be another good game with the Wagner sisters.
Good old Gopher Conference, ex-Gopher Conference rivalry.
Yep.
NRHEG, 5 straight wins for the Lady Panthers now. They're 14-4 for the season. They defeated Bloor at 53-40, and they beat Faribault BA 73-57. And as we mentioned, they will play at JWP on Monday. WEM, and I got to tell you about them, Teddy.
You go tell me about them.
14-3 right now with 10 straight wins. They were 4-3 at one time. They beat Waseca 62-38. They defeated Triton 53-28, and they defeated Blooming Prairie 61-43 during the week. And I went and watched Waseca and Waterville play just because I thought it would be a pretty competitive, close game. I believe the Blue Jays led 10-6 early, and I think it was 15-15, and then Waterville just picked Waseca apart. They run a high-low that just killed the Jays, and the The boards had to be at the minimum 2-1.
Okay.
Waterville. They just sometimes they got 4 shots.
They got those volleyball girls.
They have Tierney Winter and one of the Kendall girls, and you try to pressure them, and they're, 5'10", 5'11". They hold the ball over their head and don't panic.
Don't they
find somebody open.
Don't they have a Mossberg and a Dominowski?
They have a Mossberg, a Dominowski. Erica Olsen is a big girl underneath. Yeah, Gabe. We had a little talk with him, and he said, "Well, the season started, and it was kind of like." Oh, well, our sport is volleyball. We don't really care about basketball. And he said, finally, we're starting to concentrate on basketball and believing in basketball a little. So,
and there could have been that layover also when the girls had the state tournament and you hardly have any turnaround time before a winter sport.
Exactly.
It always takes a transition period.
So the Bucks are 14-3 for the year with a 10-game winning streak. Tuesday, they will travel to Wells to tangle with USC, a team they've already defeated by 15 points. And the Waseca Lady Jays, Joni Conway's crew, they are now 10-7 overall. They lost to WEM, as we mentioned, then they bounced back and beat St. James 57-40. Friday, they will play Blue Earth, a team that they won by 3 points earlier in the year. So that could be a good contest. I believe Don White and his sidekick will be broadcasting the boys at Blue Earth Thursday and the girls at home against Blue Earth Friday. So,
and his sidekick
and his sidekick. I don't know, some guy. Some old retired guy, nobody knows.
Wears a V on his shirt, on his cap.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Our hockey teams. The boys' hockey team, 6-12 overall, Teddy.
Okay.
They lost to Dodge County 3-2. They defeated Fairmont 6-4. And yesterday they lost to Marshall in a 5-0 game, I believe. Tuesday they will make the trip to Redwood Falls to play Redwood Valley.
Whoa.
The girls' hockey team saw their winning streak. I think they had won 5 in a row before this week. They are 13-10-1 for the season. They defeated Albert Lee 2-1 in a battle of section foes. Then they lost to New Ulm, who's ranked in the state 3-1, and they lost to Marshall yesterday in, I think, was an upset 1-0 at Marshall. They had defeated Marshall 7-1 earlier in the year. So I think that might have been a little bit of a stunner. Get this, Teddy. They have 1 game left in the regular season. Tuesday, Fairmont comes to town. And then a week from Wednesday, they start section play.
Isn't that unreal?
Just unbelievable.
Where'd the winner go?
Yes. Gymnastics, I see you don't have any notes.
Nothing. Nothing today.
Well, Teddy, I came through for you. The Blue Jays lost to New Ulm 130-121.
Wasn't it point something?
Yeah, but we rounded off.
Okay.
When you're a basketball guy, you round it off.
I'm an
Teddy.
aficionado. I like the right score, okay?
The Jays are 5-5 for the year. I think they have 1 senior on the team.
Seriously.
Oh, and they only have a couple juniors and a couple sophomores, and it's all 7, 8, and 9.
One of my best girls basketball players at Waseca was Amy Cole. She was in gymnastics up through 8th grade.
Yep.
She came to basketball. And for me, thank God for that. But she said, I just hated wearing that little thing. She said, because she got to be a pretty good-sized girl. She said, that's enough for gymnastics.
Yep. Friday, the Jays will have St. Peter come to town in gymnastics. And our wrestlers, Teddy.
Yep.
I goofed up again because I should have put Andy on this a lot earlier, but the Jays are 5-4 as much as I can tell. They were supposed to wrestle Faribault and Maple River on Friday. I saw nothing. I could find nothing. Tuesday they will be at home against St. Peter and Mankato East.
Okay, they had a big write-up in the paper on Bo Milbrett.
Yep.
And for being just 9th grader, and apparently some Christmas tournament he took on some kids from Iowa and all over the state, and he said, I realized I could wrestle these guys now. He's rated in the state.
The Grizzlies, WM/JWP, to the best of my knowledge, they're 5-9 for the season. They defeated St. Peter 37-34 and lost to USC 43-34. Thursday, they will be home in Waterville against Hayfield and TCU.
Just talked to Adam the other day. I had a little boy down there. His name's Gus. Gus the Bus. He's 3 years old, and he's already got his headgear ready to go for wrestling, and he's got a little singlet, and he's just cuter than a bug, and then he's got another one, Hank the Tank, at home. So there's going to be some young little wrestlers coming up, so that'll be fun to see.
Yep. NRHEG 6-9 for the season. Another one I couldn't find. They were Thursday. They were wrestling Zumbrota and Hayfield. Didn't see anything. You never know if they get postponed or what, because Guillotine is about a week behind.
That's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think with technology today, it should be instant results.
Yep. They did go to the Swalla Duels in Casson yesterday.
The what?
The Swalla Duels.
Oh, Swallows.
Named after a guy, Bob Swalla.
Okay, I was thinking Swallows come back to Capistrano about this time of the year, don't they?
The Panthers went 1-2, which evidently placed them 10th out of 11 teams. So they're 6-9 overall. Friday, they will go to Maple River for a dual meet.
Whatever happened to the Eustis tournament I used to have here in Waseca for wrestling?
They just gave it up, I guess, yeah.
That used to be a fun time.
Yeah, very good. My sports writing days, I used to have to go to that, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so... if I got smarter at the end, I'd go to the opening round and then come back for the final round. So.
Yeah, like Buzz Cummins and Nimchek and the little general sir. And
you used to go in the lounge and eat chili and have all kinds of good talks with those guys.
The good old days.
Well, let's look at the college and professional scene, Teddy, and we like to start with Minnesota State Mankato. The men's basketball team defeated Concordia St. Paul on Tuesday. They lost to Southwest State Friday night and then bounced back and beat Sioux Falls last night. They're 14-6 for the year.
Morgenthalers, he's saying they're coming together, but I think he's expecting more than he's getting right now.
Well, they've had 3 or 4 such super years. This seems like almost a down year at 14-6. Yeah. The women having a tough go at MSU Mankato. They lost to Concordia St. Paul. They defeated they defeated Southwest State, and then they lost to Sioux Falls last night, 76-99.
But it was a good game at halftime.
Yes.
And then now they still go quarters with the girls, or they went back to quarters, and apparently third quarter they got outscored by about 20.
The Lady Mavs are 6-12 for the year. The men's and women's team are at home this weekend coming up. They play Northern State on Friday night and Moorhead State on Saturday. So if you want to see the Mavs, they'll be home this weekend. The men's hockey team, they had a sweep over the weekend. They defeated Lake Superior State 8-0 on Friday and 5-1 last night. They're 13-8-5, and I believe they're leading their league yet.
Yeah, they are.
So
Bowling Green's in second, and that's going to be a big series coming up in a couple weeks. So.
They had a slow start, but they've apparently turned the corner
there. They finally found some goal scorers.
Yep.
Jeez.
They'll be on the road this weekend at St. Cloud State and at Bemidji State. And the women's hockey team, who played the Gophers to 2 one-goal games.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. They are 3-20-3 for the year, and the Gophers are about the opposite record, and they gave them all they wanted. They lost both games by 1 goal. Then they got a tie and a loss against Ohio State this weekend. They will be at North Dakota next weekend.
Their goalie got the Player of the Week.
Yep.
She's phenomenal.
Yep. The Gusties men's basketball team lost to St. John's, defeated Augsburg. They're 6-10 for the year. Teddy, they will play Monday at St. Mary's.
Unusual year for the Gusties. Usually they're always a 500 or above.
The women's basketball team at Gustavus having a pretty good year. They lost to St. Benedict, beat Augsburg. They are 12-5 for the season, and they will play Wednesday at Bethel.
You know, at St. Ben's, you mentioned that. You know who played there?
Who played there?
Joni Conway.
Oh, did Joni play there?
Yeah, she played there freshman year, and then she got that asthma-induced, exercise-induced asthma or whatever, and she just couldn't get any breath, and that was it. But, yeah, she went to St. Ben's, played there.
The men's hockey team for Gustavus, they're struggling. They tied and lost to St. Olaf this weekend. They are 3-11-3 for the year. Friday and Saturday, they have Concordia coming to town.
Okay.
And the women Gusties are 6-7-4 overall. They swept St. Olaf, a pair of 1-goal games this weekend, and they will play Friday and Saturday at Concordia. So that's Gustavus and Mankato, and then we got to move into our favorite Golden Gophers, don't we, Teddy?
I was going to wear theirs today, but I wore the Timberwolves instead because the Timberwolves won a game. Yes. Okay.
The men Gopher basketball team, 9 straight losses. I heard that even Rick Pitino said, we knew it would be a tough goal. We didn't think it would be this tough.
Well, he said the third year would be the toughest year. And like you said, he never realized it would be like this. We're talking about they got 2 guys in waiting right now for next year. And Obviously, that's not going to do them any good this year.
Right.
But right now, when you can't win at the barn, and the crowd tried to pump them up yesterday, and just didn't work. They're in the doldrums.
And then you mentioned you got these ringers next year, but remember, they're freshmen next year.
Yes.
I always figured, well, that's a year that's a learning experience.
Unless they're Mellow Trimble or somebody like that. Yeah.
Exactly. The Gopher men are 6-14 overall. It doesn't look like the NIT's even in the wings this year.
Not even. No.
They lost to Michigan, and yesterday they lost to Illinois in overtime. Wednesday, Purdue comes to the barn. The women's basketball team, almost the opposite. They're 13-6, 3 straight wins. They defeated Indiana, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. And Teddy and I both got to see I don't know what happened, but last year it seemed almost every game was on TV of the women.
Yeah.
And this year, this was the first game I actually sat and watched.
I haven't had a chance to see them either.
No, and I don't think they've been on that much.
No.
Carly had 20.
Yep.
And I picked up on the air, they said that Bantam and Carly Wagner are the 3rd highest scoring guard duo in the country.
I believe it.
And this was like the 10th time that they both scored at least 20 points.
All we had to do is have Bantam blow out her ACL, so that happened. Hate to say it like that, but...
But think what they'd be if Zoe B came back, would have come back.
Or just her hair.
Yeah.
Just her hair would have come back.
And I understand she's playing very little.
Seriously?
Yeah. In the WNBA, so.
Well, Elias Jones leads Duke to the title, and now he's not getting any playing time at all. Maybe we should have stuck at Duke. Duke could use a point guard right now.
The Lady Gophers, 13-6. They play Tuesday at home against Illinois.
I want to give the announcers jinx. Yesterday they said Carly had made 20 free throws in a row or whatever.
Yeah. Promptly missed the first one. Yep.
But you shoot 90% from the line. That's for guys or gals. That's really
averaging
great.
Just a shade under 20 a game as a sophomore. The men's hockey team, they are apparently straightening things out a little bit. They've now won 5 straight games to get up to 13-10 for the year. They swept Wisconsin over the weekend 4-0 and 9-2. 9 goals in hockey.
Bucky Badger didn't show up.
Wow.
Yep.
Saturday and Sunday they will play in that. I think it's called the North Star Cup Challenge with a couple of games in St. Paul.
You bring up the North Stars.
The women, they are 22-3, the Lady Gopher hockey team. 6 straight wins. They swept St. Cloud over the weekend, and they will play Friday and Saturday at Bemidji.
All right.
Okay, Teddy, it's time for the Wolves.
Yep.
And we got 2 wins last week.
You probably don't notice the sweatshirt very much, but this is one of the original sweatshirts they came out.
I think I have one like that.
Do you really? And then they went that mean wolf with the black and everything. But I like this one. It's kind of wussy wolf. Yep.
Kind of like you, always kind look on your face.
Wussy. Yeah.
The Wolves had a 4-game week. They defeated Phoenix, lost to New Orleans, lost to Dallas in overtime, and then last night defeated Memphis.
Hey, they were 2-2.
2-2 for the week. They're 14-31. And last year, we won 15 games? Total. So Monday, they will play at Cleveland, and Wednesday, they'll be home against Oklahoma City.
Did you watch them with Grizz last night?
I did not see it.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, they've thrown so many games away where they had double-digit leads, and it looked like last night was going to be the same thing, but then a crucial play at the end of the ball game with about 30 seconds to go. Rubio just made a free throw. Wolves are up by 1, and they get the ball advanced to half court, for the Grizz, and Mauer's the official. You ever see that slick Mauer guy?
Yeah,
okay. Okay, so he gives the ball out of bounds, and they got, everybody, always, because all those guys in there for Grizz, and you see the count like this, 5-second count. Unbelievable. Usually, they give you another second or something. He calls it, the Wolves get the ball back, they go down, Wiggins scores or hits 2 free throws, and they end up winning the ball game. Unbelievable.
Never see that.
Never see that. And their coach is going nuts. Just could not believe it. And then they showed the replay, and there you see, plain as day, the 5 count. He doesn't have it in bounds. It was
You
fun.
probably didn't see the Sunday Trib yet, but
I haven't.
Well back in the section, it was KG sings the praises of Towns, goes Mum on Mitchell.
Really?
So,
Whoa.
that's not an endorsement.
No, it's not. Well, it sounds like LeBron getting rid of his coach.
The Minnesota Wild, Teddy, 23-17-9 for the year.
Yeah.
They lost to Anaheim. They defeated the LA Kings, a 3-0 shutout.
Yep.
And then they lost to San Jose 4-3 yesterday. I think they had a 1-3 road trip, tough West road trip.
They had a 2-1 lead in that San Jose game.
Yes, they did.
A little matinee in the afternoon.
Monday they have Phoenix coming to the Met, and Tuesday they will be at the New York Islanders. So they're starting to play a lot of games now. They're getting 4-game weeks pretty often.
Well, Dubnik's doing his usual good job on goal, but they just don't put
Well, they had Kemper in Friday night for the shutout and last night.
Yep.
So is he hurt or just
No, they
a
just give him a little break. But
Okay.
he's like third in NHL in goaltending for goals against and stuff, but they just need some offense.
And of course, today is the big professional football playoff championships days, Teddy, and we got to know what you're thinking. New England at Denver. Both of these games have the 1 and 2 seeds going against each
Well,
other.
I think the Patriots were 10-0 going into Denver during the season, and then they lost 4 of the next 6, and Denver was one of them. And but at that time they didn't have Collins or linebacker, the Pats. So I don't know. I don't know how Peyton Manning's going to be able to do it because their offense is anemic anyhow for Denver. They rely on their defense. They're number 1 in the NFL. But Von Miller's back too for the Broncos. I'm going to pick Patriots. I like Brady. I think he does a great job with what he had. They didn't even run the ball. They have no running game whatsoever. They're just going to throw it like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money. Edelman's back for the Patriots. So even though it's at Denver, it could be atmosphere factor or whatever. Those guys sucking oxygen like crazy. But then Denver's got this field goal kicker who's unbelievable at high altitude. So should be a great game, but I'm picking the Pats.
And then we have Arizona at Carolina, if they can get there.
Yeah.
And I understand where this game is played, it's more of a rain type thing than snow.
Yep. Well, you got to go with Cam Newton. I'd love to watch Carson Palmer there at the end of the game with the Packers, and he looked like he didn't want to be there. He got lucky with Fitzgerald in that big long gain. I don't know how he would have done in that overtime. But I'm going to go with the more experienced, not more experienced, but the dabber. They do that dab on TV after the whole team does it at the end of the ball game.
I wish someone would dab him right in the
I
head.
know a lot of people don't like it, but hey, the guy's having a fun time playing a kid's game. So if you want to act like a kid, go ahead. But yeah, it'd be fun to see Arizona because they beat the Pack, and you like to see the team that beats your team go on and win the Super Bowl. But I don't know, the Patriots. I'm not Patriots. The Carolina. They had a heck of a season.
Well, I think, Teddy, if I was put on the spot, I would probably pick New England and Carolina, but I want Denver and Arizona.
All right. So we're on opposites.
But no, I agree with you. I think I would pick those two teams to win, but I just hope the other two win.
I just hope they're good games.
Yeah, and they should be, but you never know what's going to happen at playoff time.
When you look at the Patriots, what are they, 7 with Belichick and Brady? It's unbelievable.
Yep. What do you got? Any Slay and Cutter news or
Slay and
tennis?
Cutter? They had a big deal in the paper on all the stuff coming up for Slay and Cutter,
events.
and they said they're not doing the polar plunge, and they're
polar
not doing
plunge.
no ice harvest. But they had like the card tournaments, and they got the crownings, and they got the Slay and Cutter parade, and they got you name it. But it's in the paper. You got to go or go online and find out. But I watched a little tennis last night. I'm a big tennis fan. I love the Australian Open, and I'm watching last night with Djokovic. Okay, Novak he's an odds-on favorite to win it again this year. They had this guy from France, and I started watching about 11 o'clock, and all of a sudden about midnight, and I'm thinking this is going to go 5 sets, and it did. and Djokovic won it at the end.
You didn't see the end then?
No, it got over about 3:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I'm not like you. I don't stay up much.
Yeah, if I would have known it was on, I'm
I'm
sure I
sure
could
you
have
would.
stayed up and watched it.
Right. No, I just hoping maybe I see Tony Rampton sitting there somewhere in the stands. Okay. Those who don't know, he used to play here in Waseca. He's a foreign exchange student that came over and went D1 down at Iowa State. But yeah, so I love watching tennis, and then the way the ball. I mean, those guys hit the ball like unbelievable. Yeah. So I was watching that, and I'm just a little down under tennis action last night. Djokovic won. We still got an American in there named Isner. Serena Williams on the women's side, she's supposed to win it, but sometimes she has a blip on the radar. But yeah, it's just fun to watch if you're a tennis fan, and it's nice to see the summer weather down there versus the winter weather here.
Well, it's hard to believe because we're in the middle of winter, but Mankato State is already 2 weeks into baseball practice. The Twins are less than a month away from reporting.
Isn't that something?
Golf is starting to appear on the on the Golf Channel every weekend again.
Yeah, McElroy, Spieth, and the big boys.
Yeah, we don't think of it that way, but yeah, Cody Alfers, I talked to him, and he's had 2 weeks of practice already at MSU. So,
jeez Louise.
Yeah, it goes before you know it.
And they're talking 40 degrees this week.
40 degrees
folks.
Friday.
Possibly, yep.
You bet. We want to say a little hi to one of our faithful listeners, Grant, and the new twins.
Oh, hey, he did the game the other night.
Zach and Emmy. Yeah, he said you called him Dewey right away.
Yeah, right, I did it on purpose. I did it on purpose, just so you know that, Grant. Okay, but yeah, Grant, we talked about the Twins and how he's not getting any sleep, and he's pretty ornery.
Well, Grant reported in that he had his best night of sleep the other night.
Really?
Because Zach slept till 7.
Oh my gosh!
And Emmy got up at 4:45, but Sugar handles those early morning calls, he said.
Oh, my Lord. She's a
I said, don't let her go. She's a keeper.
I was going to say, she's a saint for marrying him and a saint for having the twins and taking care of him. But
yeah, Grant, the captain says it's before 9. Take the dogs out. No, it's after 9. Take the dogs out.
Got my song real quick.
Okay, it's scene time.
Down south, okay. This is the other side of the earth here. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tied me down. What is that? Do you remember how it goes?
No.
Watch me while I be free, mate. Watch me while I be free. Well, watch me while I be free, mate. Just sit hanging on the shed. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. I screwed up all the crazy. Tie me kangaroo. We're done, Andy. Okay.
That will do it for this week's show. Thanks to Andy and Hudson for producing the show. Expertise as usual, and Andy didn't even talk much today. That was really a treat.
I got a cold.
Yep. Well, and Hudson just was so docile. He was really good.
Forward to Teddy's tournament over in Owatonna next week.
All right, baby.
Hudson's just waiting for his treat.
Yep, he is.
Thanks to my right-hand man, Ted Hammond, and thanks to you for watching. Hopefully we'll see you all next week.
Kangaroo, 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 kangaroo.